1.8. Science and communication. The importance of communication in science is reflected in this section. It is emphasized that understanding statements and contexts as well as one's own methodology and approach is indispensable for scientific work. This requires engaging with the understanding possibilities of others and understanding sources, statements, and data. It is also emphasized that researchers always work with existing literature and in exchange with other researchers, and that the willingness to communicate professionally is important in order to make results and methods transparent and verifiable. It is also pointed out that new findings from research often flow into development and new research topics can arise. Two processes are mutually dependent: science and communication. Understanding statements and contexts, but also one's own methodology and approach, is indispensable in order to be able to work scientifically at all. An important concept here is hermeneutics, which deals with the foundations and processes of understanding. It is not unique to the humanities. Hermeneutics is a theory and methodology of interpreting texts, works of art, and cultural phenomena. It is concerned with how we understand and communicate meaning. In academia, hermeneutics is applied in various disciplines such as literary studies, philosophy, theology, anthropology, and sociology to interpret and understand texts and cultural phenomena. This involves not only the mere transmission of meanings, but also the study of cultural contexts and historical contexts. Let us recall Hans Peter Durr or take Paul Watzlawick's statements. Understanding statements and contexts, but also one's own methodology and approach, is indispensable in order to be able to work scientifically at all. This sounds banal, but it has an important fundamental component. Understanding requires dealing with the possibilities of understanding of others. Those who work scientifically must be able to understand sources, statements, and data, interpret them and make them useful for their goal of knowledge. And they must be able to make their own ways and results understandable to others. Understanding is practiced in interpersonal dialogue and in the confrontation with statements and texts from other than one's own everyday and cultural spheres. Recommended reading, Young 2012. Science needs dialogue. A scientist always works with existing literature and often in exchange with other researchers, also from other disciplines. At universities and other research institutions, moreover, there are usually supervisory relationships or even concrete periods of cooperation with other researchers. At the latest, when results are published, and often also when interim results are published, the researcher enters into a dialogue with others. There is feedback and correction advice. It is therefore necessary to adjust to this professional communication from the outset and to design everything that is written in such a way that it is easily comprehensible and verifiable for others. With such a dialogical attitude, a researcher ensures that he or she is not only able to produce a solution that is useful in the defined context for his or her own purposes, but that he or she also makes his or her approach and results, including the application of methods, transparent and thus useful for everyone else. Research and development. This benefit from new knowledge gained through research is often brought in as a basis for application in the area of development. New research topics can also arise from development, see Balzard et al. 2022, pages 49 and 50. In this respect, the areas of R&D typically found in companies often denote the interplay of application-oriented research and development activities. Nevertheless, it is precisely the relativity of all results of R&D that must always be kept in mind. The insights gained are valid for a certain point in time or period of time and for a certain context, nothing more as a rule, see Paul Watzlawick. And they are to be discarded if they have not withstood a falsifying examination even in a single case, see Sir Karl Raimund Popper. Interaction in R&D happens through communication. That's actually a catchphrase. I use it here in the sense of interaction, of understanding, of explanation. This also has implications for our own scientific work. Because it has to be communicated. Not only to the examiners, but ultimately also in the marketplace of scientific products and to relatives and acquaintances.